Hey, if you got this part of the video, you've got the live unedited edition Home Gadget Geeks Thursday night. It's the 29th of January, 2026, 8:05. I'm usually pretty much on time, but it's having some microphone problems. And still don't know. Chat room, this is where you could help me as I start chatting with Uncle Marv Bee, as he likes the Uncle Marv. We will see how our volumes are, Marv. Great to have you.
Thank you, sir. And yes, I am staying warm.
You have to stay warm. You don't have a choice to be cold. It didn't.
Oh, it's going to be cold this weekend.
Really? Like
Yeah, we've actually
50?
the last couple of nights it's been in the 40s.
Okay.
We've woken up. I think this morning it was 46 when we woke up. So we do have heaters that turn on. So they turn on at 70. and my wife got up and she still wanted to turn it up to take the chill off.
Oh yes, no, I understand. What kind of electric heaters or what?
Yeah,
what
it's
are you
part
running?
of the AC unit.
Okay.
And then this weekend, it's going to be close to record lows. We're going to be low 30s.
Wow.
The record is 29 degrees back in 1977 when it snowed in Florida.
Oof. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy talk. At least the oranges aren't in full swing and they're spreading water all over them, right, to keep them from freezing. Right.
Everybody's more worried about the iguanas than the oranges.
No, right on. They'll be fine. It's not like what's crazy, with all the crazy weather stuff, and they're like, the Arctic is warmer than it's ever been, and I'm like, well, why is it so dang cold here?
Right.
It's almost like the cold mass has moved away from the North Pole and has come over the northern parts of Canada, which is pushing cold air into your area all the time. Or me too, right? It's coming right over us as it's making its way to you. So yeah, kind of crazy, right?
Yeah, I've got a tech friend that is in Oklahoma. She is Edmond.
Yep.
Do you know where that is? Yeah. So
I do.
Teased me saying that it was 1 degree yesterday.
Yes. Yeah. We're at 20 right now, and that's the warmest. Thanks, Ryan. Ryan said the volume's good. Okay. That's the warmest it's been. We were in the single digits most of the weekend, and then early in the week, it's been getting. I think one of the days was negative 20 wind chills. But to be honest, we're kind of built for it, right? Nothing freezes for the most part. Everything's built to handle that kind of weather, and you'd put up with it for a night or two, throw an extra blanket on the bed, you don't sit outside at all. You make sure everything at negative 20, right? You can't have any exposed skin, right?
Right.
You need to, right. So, everybody. So Dan's checking in, Ryan's checking in. Good to see you guys. Let me get that up there. Dan, good to see you. Ryan's checking in. Good to see you. Thanks for doing that. Brian is out there. Good to see you. Tony. Ken was checking in a little bit earlier. So thanks for coming out, guys. We're just a few minutes late getting started, but we'll get started here in just a second. Because I was monkeying around with my audio in the pre-show, trying to get it. I don't know what's going on with it. We'll kick off, Marv, with a little. I've got some Tapo devices, some water sensor stuff.
Okay.
that I'm gonna kick off with. We'll talk about that a little went a little wonky there. And then, is it practical for UniFi for home use? That'll be then we'll dive into that. How's that sound?
Yep.
All right. Let's get after it. Let's do this. Guys who are joining live, thanks for coming out. Good to see you guys. All right, here we go. This is the Average Guy Network, and you have found Home Gadget Geeks show number 669 with guest Marv Bee, recorded on January 29th. There it is, 2026. Here on Home Gadget Geeks, we cover all the favorite tech gadgets that find their way into your home, news, reviews, product updates, and conversation, all for the average tech guy. I'm your host, Jim Collison, broadcasting live from the AverageGuy.tv studios here in what is a warming up Bellevue, Nebraska. But Marv, our temperature and your temperature could be the same sometime tomorrow. Is that what you were telling me? You got cold weather
this weekend? Yep.
Yeah,
so
okay.
We are scheduled Sunday night. Actually, they've just upped it. We're going to wake to a low of 33
Oh,
Sunday morning.
yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We had last week we had Oscar on, right? Hidea, and he was in Miami, and he was making fun of me because it was going to be 72 or whatever. Now Miami's a little bit farther south. I'm sure they won't be as cold, but
They it's probably not as much, but they're only 30 miles from us.
oh really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I thought.
Fort Lauderdale sits in
Oh, that's
between
right.
West Palm and
That's
Miami.
right.
So
I always think you're farther north for some reason. So
everybody
you're
always assumes I'm from Orlando because I'm
that's
there so
no.
much.
That's maybe that's I was thinking you were in Orlando, but
Yeah.
yeah. So you're not far away. Well, that is cold. Holy
Yeah.
cow! If you're getting 33, I think our Sunday temperature is 20. So, but that's not far from what it typically is. So,
Well, but here's the difference: 33 in Florida, it
no,
might as
right
well
on.
be zero.
No, right on. I understand. It doesn't happen very often. You're not very used to it, and you break out the winter jackets and all those other kinds of things. Well, we'll be our positive well wishes go to you for a 30, for a 30 weekend. Anyways, we'll post the show with some world class show notes out there at theaverageguy.tv. Big thanks to our Patreon subscribers. For you that are on that team, thanks for what you do. You do it every single month. You can join that team, theaverageguy.tv/Patreon if you want to do it. Join for 1 month or as many as you want. Most of you have been out there forever. Thank you for doing that on Patreon. And then, of course, if you're purchasing on Amazon, and I've been doing a few Amazon purchases lately this week, head out to theaverageguy.tv before you buy. Click on the affiliate link there. There's a red link in the upper right hand corner. Click on that. Helps out the network when you do that. Appreciate you doing that as well. Uncle Marv B is back. Marv, always great to have you on. Hey, what's been before we dive in a little bit? It's been I don't know. It's been a couple months since we've seen you last. What's new with you?
It's been longer than that, man.
Has it really? Maybe 6 months.
Checking. I was trying to see what did we
What
talk
was it?
about last.
Yeah, what was it? I'll have to look here.
Oh, I know. I just forgot, but
Yeah.
it was.
Oh,
So
for sure.
I can tell you that getting ready to. We're in conference season, so I was already at one Podfest with our friend Dave Jackson earlier this month, and then starting in February, I will be gone 3 of the 4 weeks, 2 times in Orlando, and all tech conferences. So we're gearing up for all of that, seeing all the latest that the vendors have. I will not be attending Florida Man this year.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
How is that possible?
Because it was right smack in the middle of all those conferences.
All right.
And I'm like, yeah, is it really worth it for me to go? It will be fun for me to go over there.
But you have a Florida Man segment on your show still, right? Are you still doing that?
You know what's funny? I did not. So I started the year not doing that segment. And then I had people sending me stories as if to say, hey, if you need a story, here's one. So they were saying they missed it. So I sort of brought one back this past week, and it was Sheriff Grady Judd, America's favorite sheriff out of Polk County, and talking about a story. They arrested a man that was naked, and they tried to give him a trespass warning, but then he came back naked.
Still naked,
and so they took him in, and he was complaining about, pain in his belly.
Yeah.
And turns out they did the X-ray, and he had a thermos stuck up his behind.
Oh my gosh, Florida Man! There you go.
And of course, people are like, "How in the world did you get a thermos?"
It's surprisingly elastic, so you can. Yeah. Well, that's Florida for you, right?
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, April was the last time you were on. I was kind of it's been longer than I thought. And I was like, why why has it been so long? I took a ton of time off in the fall.
You took the summer off.
Yeah, we just kind of got out of rhythm. So
yeah.
Well, it's good to have you back. We're going to spend a little time talking about answering the question. I kind of put this in the Discord group. I kind of asked the question, how practical is UniFi for home use? We're going to talk about that here in a second. But Marv, I've had a problem in the basement. So here in the basement, typical Midwestern home has a floor drain right in the middle. Everything slopes to it. But in the old days, your washer and dryer, if that overflowed, or your furnace and maybe air conditioner needed a place for the condensation stuff to go to, and you would run, as a basement. People didn't live in these things; they were just basements, and so it'd run to the floor drain. Well, we've turned this into fairly livable space down here, and of course, though, when you're living with it, and when the pipes back up, where do you think the backup goes? Right, comes
All
up
right.
through the floor drain. Right. So, from time to time in the 25 years we've lived here, we've had that happen. Oh, maybe every 3 or 4 years something happens. Call the plumber, they clean it out. But over the Christmas holiday, I couldn't get it. Like we just couldn't get it clear. I cleared it twice. I paid $435 for a plumber to come out
Mm.
and clear it. And it worked for a couple days, and then it wouldn't clear again. So one of the things, as we're running showers or running the washing machine or the dishwasher, once it was always kind of a slow flood. It was never like just bursting out of the pipes, right? It just kind of slowly started seeping up. And I thought, certainly there's some technology, right, that could help me at least know when that thing was starting to come up again. I am going to get it fixed, but it's taking a little while. So I picked up these Tapo water, smart water, or leak sensors. Have you
I was
messed
going to say,
around?
I've not messed with them, but think that's what 20, 30-year-old technology that you should have something like that. Should be pretty simple.
Well, it is actually, and they're not terribly expensive. I think I paid $20 maybe for these. I've
Okay.
got two of them. I just ordered a second for the hot water heater. I'll tell you why here in a
Right.
second.
Now,
They all
is it the kind that just sends an audible alert, or is it smart and works with your, tablet?
those are all great questions. It's like you're a podcaster. This is awesome. I should have you on more often. The This is both audible, and then I had to pick up the first one I picked up. I didn't get the hub, and so as I was monkeying with it, I was trying the app and it wasn't connecting, and then it was like, oh no no no, you need the hub. And so they sell, of course, a $20 hub that goes with it, right? And sits on the wall somewhere, and you can connect your devices to it. By the way, you can't do any firmware updates unless you have the hub.
Uh,
So, but if you're just going to have one as an audible sensor on, and you don't need the hub to make it work. Put it on the floor. It's got one button. You can tap it a couple times to, it's got three levels of the alarm and some of those kinds of things, which is super helpful. I conveniently turned it down the other day because we had a house guest and I didn't want them waking up to shrieking. And then of course the one time it flooded, it was all the way down, so we couldn't hear it. And you know, so I was like, okay, I'm buying another one. I'm getting the hub. And I bought a second sensor to go by the hot water heater. So one of the reasons I'm doing this now is because I plugged that floor drain. Like I'm tired of,
really?
yeah. But so everybody, as I've said that, everybody's like, it's going to back up into the house.
I was,
I'm going to calm down, friends. I've thought this through. We actually have a utility sink down here as well, connected to the same or similar drains, and it's the lowest spot in the basement, the utility drain. So if it's going to back up, it's going to come back into my utility sink, which is a confined space. What I'm looking for is that water to be confined.
okay.
I don't want it. I'm tired of it being on the floor. And then you got to clean up that mess with the utility sink. I can just clear the drains at this point, and I have higher spots to be able to run the snakes through. But I was just got tired of cleaning it off the floor. I don't know. When I said that, you had a look of alarm on your face. Did you?
Well, so remember, in Florida, we don't have basements.
Right, right.
So every knowledge I get comes from TV, HGTV, and there's always something in the basement to pump out water
Yeah,
when something like that happens. And I
yeah.
forget the sub pump or something
We have a
like that.
sump. We have a
A
sump pump.
sump?
Yeah,
Okay.
we have a sump. Yeah, but it's completely the sump pump's on the other side of the house. It's meant any water coming in under from the outside underneath the foundation or in whatever, right, goes into the sump and then it gets pumped out. No, to your point, if I had a massive flood in here, the sump pump would take care of me, right? If I got a foot of water in here, the sump pump would kick in and start kicking
Right.
water out, right? So yeah, I hadn't thought of that. So thank you for Thanks for reminding me. It's also there's a low point is the door that goes out to the garage, so the water's actually going to make its way out through the garage before it goes. Before it
Yeah,
goes, yeah,
that's too much. That's why we have
yeah,
slabs in Florida, and the slabs are built up, so
yeah.
everything slopes away from the
No,
house.
right on. Yeah, I'm gonna have. I have a sneaking suspicion that is gonna have to have some pipes replaced and have it dug up and replaced. But in the
Oh,
meantime, so in the meantime, we'll talk about this on another show. I bought one of those cameras that's on a 100 foot of the one of the
the
plumber's
snake?
cameras, snake camera. Yeah, you put it down in there. I bought one of those because if to call a plumber is 400 bucks, I got a camera for 250, and I'm like, I could probably check this out myself, and it's going to be pretty obvious once you get down there what's wrong
Right.
in the pipe. So, and I've always, to be honest, I've always wanted one of those cameras. Don't tell Sarah that, but I've always wanted one of those. My neighbor has the snake. I now have a camera. I bought some really cool called ugly gloves for this kind of work. They're PVC gloves kind of thing. Yeah, for a guy who hates to do plumbing, I'm sure getting into it a lot.
I was gonna say, that's a little much for me.
It is it's too much for everybody. Like let's just be really clear. But I'm kind of frustrated with it. We've been living it here for, I don't know, 25 years. And it's like, oh, I gotta fix this. I just can't have it coming up through the floor. So at this point, I put some stoppers on the floor. I've got some back protection through the laundry sink. And this Saturday, after Ask the Podcast Coach, the camera's going in and my house is getting a colonoscopy. I'm going in with the camera. I'm checking out the pipes.
Wow.
It's going to be great.
I mean, I get it. It's your house. It's a big investment, but once it's weird. So when it comes to tech and gear,
Yeah,
I hear you. Spend that money, get that
sure.
stuff. You don't need it. But when it comes to the house,
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
Yeah, see, I want the tools to do and then here our neighborhood's super close. So we loan stuff out to each other all the time. So I wanted to be the guy who had the camera in case one of the neighbors needed hey, I'm having trouble getting this cleared. Can do you have the camera? We could snake it. I'm like, yes, I can. And it's super cool. The one I got has a 32 gig SD card in it. So you can
Okay.
record, you can record with it. I'll talk about it on a future episode after I use it this weekend to see if it actually works. It looked cool. The setup was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Brought it out, put the camera on everybody. It's HD. Super cool.
So how small is that? Because I mean, it's got to be small. So for instance, I was going to show this. I just bought this tiny little Osbot mini thingy.
Yeah.
And it's it's smaller than a webcam,
Mm-hmm.
but to go on a snake, it's got to be
the
like
head
a
is
micro.
the head's about the size of a quarter.
Okay.
Remember change? I mean, pennies are gone now, so that we can't say that anymore, but
Well, they're not gone. A lot of us have them.
there's a shortage in Omaha. There's a shortage. Everybody's like, we can't get them anymore, and there's been a penny panic here.
I've been using mine. I got mine in my
Have you?
car.
Okay.
I love it when I get the people ask for, when I get the sale and they're like, oh, 227. I'm like, hang on.
Hold on. I got this. I got 2 pennies for you. I got 2
Yeah.
pennies. Yeah, it's about the size of a quarter. It's got lights on it. You listen, the sensor in this webcam is pretty small, right?
Okay.
It's up here.
Yeah.
So something like that. And then it's got lights. I've got 6 lights around it. And then it's on a flexible head. So you put that thing in there, just snake it down. So we're going to see. I don't know. I don't know if I can do it or not, but I'm going to give it a try. It's super cool tech, right? I could record if I wanted to record it going down there, it's got a DVR functionality on it. And you can kind of, Sarah's got the eye for detail. So I'm going to have her be watching the camera.
You're going to be spending your weekends doing that and not watching football.
Yeah, football's almost over.
There is no football.
It's almost over. We are to the very end. It feels like a season that's gone on for a long time. Have you used water sensors at all for
No.
I haven't either. And I've had enough leaks that I think at least an audible sensor, I think you should probably have a water sensor at your hot water heater and under your sink. right? At a minimum.
Well, so we don't have a hot water heater. We have the hot water tank.
Yeah, or a water heater. I don't know why I call it a hot water heater. They're all hot water heaters, so you
Yeah,
could
but
just call it a
ours
water.
is just a little, square tank that's on the wall. So we're not
Yeah,
we're
so
not
it's on
storing
demand.
water.
You have an
Yeah,
on
on
demand.
demand.
Yeah,
Yep.
on demand. Yeah. So, but you might want to put one underneath there. If it started dripping, would it ruin the floor? If it started like if something failed and it started dripping?
It would ruin a lot more because that's where the wife keeps all her laundry stuff and
Yeah.
everything. So
Yeah.
we would know pretty quick.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, it's interesting and not very expensive. And I'm gonna hook them together with the hub. And in theory, we would get alerts. And I've had enough water. I'm just tired of it. So
Yeah.
it's good. It's good. And Tapo seems to be taking over, like their TP Link, right? That's kind of their and Casa KASA. That was, is it Casa?
Okay, I saw Casa when I was looking at so we're gonna go out of order because I was
No worries. Yeah, no worries. That's fine.
So I started looking at smart plugs for the home.
Yeah. Yep.
But I didn't want the lady stuff because I don't want the lady in my house.
The A lady, yes.
Yeah. So I'm thinking I'll look for these other ones. So the two names that I came across were G Home and Casa.
Yeah.
And what I was doing is, so I'll show you this. So this is a Wattbox. So this is a device that I put in all my clients so that I can remotely power cycle servers if I need to without having to go on site. Now that looks pretty big, but they have a smaller one that I've been using for, that usually fits in a server rack, and we lost Jim.
There
he's back.
Come back.
Okay. So that fits in a server rack. So there's a smaller one that I would get for like internet server connections. So I would just need two, but I'm thinking these are a little much to get for the house.
How much are those?
So these are a couple $100.
Okay.
So even this one's like $199, and the big thing is like $350 or whatever.
Okay. But so what are you trying to do? Like when you say too much for the house, like what are you trying to do with these plugs then?
Well, I mean, I would put one on the computer, but I'm thinking, okay, these smart plugs have to be doing similar things.
Oh, for sure.
Because I know people get them for, the Christmas tree lights. Like I have the little schedulers that'll come on and off, but I wanted one where I could, on my phone, say, turn on the lights. But I also wanted to start doing it. I still wanted to have the ability, like if I'm going to get it for the lights, why not get it for the computers? And I wanted that same reboot ability, but it doesn't look like they do that. They just turn on or turn off.
They do turn on or turn off. But if you have your server set to, from a PC standpoint, so if you have it set to, what do they call it? Power state on, I forget the term of it. So if the power goes, no, these are, like there's a setting and there's a UEFI, there it goes, setting that says if the computer is on and there's a power loss, when the power comes back on, you turn yourself back on. And not all computers can do this.
Well, most computers will do that.
Right.
The last state known or
last
whatever.
State, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So if you had it plugged into one of these smart plugs, and I love Tapo. I've kind of gone Tapo on all my plugs too. Here, this is kind of what my Tapo. Oh, you kind of see that there. That's kind of what that looks like. You can see the blue ones are on and the gray ones are off.
Okay.
And I could, from anywhere, if it's off, turn it on or turn it off and then turn it back on again. So if the PC would come back, right, then you could just reboot it with one of these. The thing I kind of like about them is they also monitor energy use. You got to get the more expensive version of it, but they'll monitor your energy use, tell you how much you're using, how long it's been on for, some of those kinds of things, and give you some feedback on what the juice, the wattage it's pulling.
So it looks like there's a version where you can actually it's your actual outlet if you want.
I'm sure. I'm sure by now they have you could replace it with an outlet.
Yeah.
The one thing I don't like about that is that you always end up thinking like, oh, as soon as you put that thing in, you're like, oh, I want to move my computers around, or
Yeah. Okay.
put it
I see.
somewhere else. Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
kind of
Those.
like the plugs because you plug them in, they've got an on and off, physical on and off switch on the plug. And then, of
Yep. I
course,
see that.
these are all connected. These are all Wi-Fi connected, so I can turn them off, turn them on, and turn them off from anywhere.
Yeah.
Cycle
I'm
that
looking
way.
on the Amazon right now. Checking it out. All right. And they're about the same price as the other ones I was looking at.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What 16 are you seeing? Maybe I've got them as cheap
There's
as
a 4-pack
8.
for 29 right now.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I've gotten them, and that's $6, $7, $8 each for it.
Yeah. 15 amps. So
Yeah, I might get. I don't. I wonder if they make a 20 amp version.
it's weird. So you can actually do a schedule and timer
Mm-hmm.
as well as the remote control.
Yep.
And there's a way mode.
Yeah, I mean it's part of like you can tie them all together so that when you leave from a proximity standpoint, whatever that trigger is, they'll just automatically shut off. So if you had outdoor lights or garage lights, some of those kinds of things where when you leave, it senses
Cool.
that. Yeah, yeah, they're pretty handy. They're pretty handy. I probably have a
That I
dozen.
like.
Yeah, I probably have a dozen of them. So probably a little bit cheaper than $200 for the server grade ones that you put in there. Same kind of connectivity. Give it a try. They all have apps. I'm kind of been standardizing on the Tapo, TAPO brand a little bit. That's TP Link. They are the parent company or whatever, however that works. And they've worked out pretty well for me.
Yeah, they've got everything. Oh, they've got smart cameras too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're starting to get into everything. Recognize it's a Chinese brand, but they all are at this point. But that's what I've liked. The one thing, Marv, is that it's been, I have, Philips lights, I've got some Whiz lights, I've got some TP Link switches that then Casa came along, so I've got some Casa switches now. When they went the Tapo line, TP Link did, they kind of said, well, we'll bring in all the Casa stuff too, sort of, right, kind of thing. So it's just getting everything. It is nice to have it in a single app from time to time to be able, like with the Christmas tree, I should have shut that off before I left the house.
Right.
Log in, boom, it's off. So some great functionality on that. You can set scenes like you can with anything else. So if you wanted to group 3 of them together and say, hey, I want to shut them off all at the same time, or you can they have automations that you can set them to. So like when the sun comes up, turn them on, or when the sun goes down, turn them off, kind of deal. Or maybe it's the other way around.
All right.
Type deal. So
So
check it
I
out.
just added I just added them to my cart. I'll look at them tomorrow.
Yeah. Joe says in chat, he says there's been some hold on, let me get down here to it. He says there's been some chatter about banning TP Link. Yeah, listen, any IoT you're buying right now, and Brian says he has some Casa smart outdoor plugs. Love them for my Christmas lights. I think if you're going to be worried about they're all coming from China. So if you're going to be worried about any of that, then you be smart about how you put them on your network. Marv, this is what's crazy. Like most of these IoT devices, and maybe it's because of cost, are not doing 5G anywhere. They always have to be 2.4, right? So on your Wi-Fi, and I think most Wi-Fi's are dual.
Well,
band
I think
right
the
now.
problem is they have to allow for backward compatibility, because the people that are getting these most of the time aren't guaranteed to have, 5G, 6G. I mean, they're just not. So to be the most compatible, they're going to, be able to do 2.4.
Yeah, they're just be like 2.4 only, and they're pretty adamant about it.
Yeah, and to be honest, they don't need a ton of bandwidth either.
That you're correct. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So, I mean, if you've got decent speed, in terms of upload, download, then the 2.4 doesn't matter, because what you want is that fast connection if you're out of the house and you want to look back in, turn stuff on or off, have it be pretty instant. That's your internet.
Right. Right. Yeah, we as I was trying to get internet out to the shed, I bought a dual band extender that's 2.4 and 5. And to do video out there, I kind of need to be on the 5G band to really have it. It's faster, right? Works better that way.
Yeah.
But everything else, all the IoT devices went 2.4, and they're adamant about 2.4 only. I think they've had a lot of people send those back for whatever reason, not working on the 5 gig band or whatever on the 5G band. So, and then Dan says, and Dan, this may be true. Marv, you can weigh in on this as well. He says, I was always under the impression that 2.4 can be more reliable.
It is. It is.
To walls and things like that.
Yeah, 2.4 is the broadest. It reaches further than the 5. That's one of the things with 5. You can't get the range as you can with 2.4. So if you're ever doing a Wi-Fi survey, those are the things that you have to know, and you have to space your stuff accordingly. So yeah, 2.4 is still, the beast in terms of reliability.
Yeah, right. Reliability, serviceability,
distance. Because the distance too, that's always a thing. Everybody always, complains, I get, I'm only 100 feet away. Why isn't getting signal? Well, get off the 5 and get on the 2.4.
But 5 is faster, right?
5 is faster, yes.
Conditions being perfect. I think that's right. It is faster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we covered 2 birds with 1 stone on that. You had that on the notes to talk a little bit about, but I mean, I think certainly there are, some, there are some times I think we're at that point now to start thinking about how do I unify, and we're going to move to that in a second, but how do I unify my IoT devices so I'm not managing them in 7,000 different apps? Good segue. You had mentioned how practical is it for UniFi for home use? What makes you ask that question?
So let me go back a little bit, because I was one of those people where UniFi was not on my radar, because I was, the business guy. I'm not going to use a consumer brand, which UniFi was back in the beginning, for my networks. And about a year ago, it started getting real big traction in the managed services space. So independent service providers were all doing UniFi, because UniFi actually started to make big strides in the central management feature. Previous to a year or so ago, you would have to have gone with Hostify or host your own controller cloud, that sort of thing. And I didn't want to deal with the cloud keys. I thought that was stupid. I'm like, why can't these be like everything else? And why can't it just either be built in or have the web host company be able to do that? So I had just kind of poo-pooed UniFi for a long time. Probably not being nice about it, I guess is the right way to say, because it was, it was like, you're going to do business class or prosumer, and that's where UniFi was. But UniFi really has made some strides. And earlier this year, I had an old customer call me up, and who was going to open up a shop again. He does antique cars or high-class car kits and stuff. But he was just going to be himself. He wasn't going to hire staff again, but he was going to have a shop. He wanted 2 computers, and he wanted cameras. He wanted a doorbell system. And the gear that I normally use, well, one, I couldn't do the doorbell system. And to quote him, just for the router, the managed switch, the access points, I was trying to figure out if I'm going to go Ruckus, which is what I normally use. That was overkill for him. Was I going to go Datto? Datto comes with monthly subscriptions. That I didn't want to do for him. And I said, let me take a look at UniFi, Ubiquiti stuff. And the Ubiquiti stuff actually floored me, because it is, I'll be honest, it's pretty good. It is, they're very solid with their gateways and their gateways will do full, gigabit internet, actually faster if you get the enterprise class. So you got gigabit internet, you've got full managed switches. Everything is, I don't want to say plug and play, but when you connect Ubiquiti devices to the network, it'll automatically recognize them. You can connect them. The access points, the Wi-Fi functionality is built right in there. The cameras, I purchased 6K, or what are they? Their 6 series brand cameras. They're not the cheapest. They're not like Hikvision or whatever stuff. So they're up there, but the AI cameras were even more. But the cameras that I put in, they're just little bullet cameras. They're a couple $100. Those things are clear, and they have a feature called smart detection, which is basically AI. So it will detect people, pets, cars. It'll read license plates. It'll do all that. So I ended up outfitting his office with, the gateway router, a managed switch. I think it was 5 cameras. I did the doorbell camera. The doorbell camera picture actually is better than the other camera. So all of that stuff. So it was only about $4,000 for this guy. I was originally going to quote him like 9 to do everything. And it works fantastic. And he is happy as can be as Jim switches again.
I don't know what's going on tonight. We had some audio trouble earlier, and then for whatever reason I keep dropping. So maybe it's just cold weather coming in. So $4,000.
So I don't know if you want me to show you what I'm doing with this guy.
Yeah, here, let me switch. I'll switch over and make you a little bit bigger so folks can see as well.
Okay, let me get to the.
Oh, you want to share screens?
Yeah.
Yeah, bring that in and we'll
pull this up here. Where is? I'll just do the screen 2. So, did it come up? There it is.
There you go. Yeah, let's go.
So this is, like I said, this is all, the platform is free. So it's not, I'm not paying any monthly subscriptions for this. So this is the dashboard. So we've got his internet connection up, all of his apps. I can see his topology, AT&T internet. There's his Wi-Fi. Here's all of his cameras and stuff. It automatically, like I said, recognizes all the Ubiquiti devices plug in. But what's really cool is I'm running his cameras. And if I go to the dashboard, there's his camera view. This big picture here, this is his doorbell.
Wow.
And that's, this is at night, pretty clear. At the lower left there, that's the, Amazon pickup. So if they leave a box, you can see it under the camera there.
I like it.
So that's
talk
there.
about cameras being influenced by our social habits. Like, before the whole Amazon thing, all we were worried about is maybe who's coming up to the door. But now you got to have that package view, right?
Yep. So actually, he's got 6 cameras. I forgot. So there's 5 there. Then when the old camera systems, you had to go to the timeline. You had to know what time of day you wanted to look for, scroll through and stuff. But now it'll actually, and he's probably some stuff going on there, but here's all the times that the camera recorded. And you can see it's got when a car goes by, if a person walks by, here's somebody on a bicycle that if we zoom in on there, the bicycle is going to be across the street. There he is over here. So there's somebody, I mean, it's one of these things where it's actually amazing. And it's only recording, what we tell it to record. So it's not running the entire time. And you can just scroll through here. Here's, a picture of somebody walking by. And when you go to look in, you see he's across the street. He's all the way over there getting into that car.
That's almost too good. Well, I mean, do you want to be tracking? This is. I kind of have this dilemma with my neighbors. Is that my garage cam picks up my neighbor's driveway too, and at some point I had to say to him, "Hey, I just want to let you know I've put a camera up here. It's tracking your driveway. I've actually tried to eliminate his driveway space as an alarm space, right, to alert me on that. But man, I would get if I was getting alerted for people across the street. I don't know. I don't know. It seems like I'd get a lot of alerts. you know.
Yeah. I can do that here. You can tell it, hey, don't don't record there you're here. I've not
Yeah.
gone in
Yeah.
to do any of that yet. But then go network stuff. So again, this has the capability of dual internets. And then let's see, it's given the throughput there. I want to go to settings, I think. And then built-in Wi-Fi. So there's all the stuff. I can create and manage the Wi-Fi through there. I can do regular stuff, VLAN networks and all of that. I can dig deeper into each port on the gateway. So if I want to assign WAN or not, I can do VPNs. And one of the things that actually sold me on this, if you have 2 Ubiquity locations, rather than having to go in and configure IP addresses and all of that stuff in your, what they call the site view or the site manager. So these are the only ones I have so far. If I want to do a VPN, all I have to do is pick one, pick the other, hit VPN, and it'll configure it automatically.
Oh, nice.
I mean,
Nice.
can't be any simpler than that.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's so that's the background. And then I happen to be looking through Reddit and somebody was talking about, yeah, I want to get some Wi-Fi for my house. I just want to know if Ubiquity is practical for the home use. And I'm thinking, okay, how can it not be? Where literally all of this is self-contained. Not only can you do your internet, your gateway, access point, you can do switches, you can do access points, you can do cameras. They actually will do door access control. So if you live at a house and you're fortunate to have a gate, in the front of your house, you can put a Ubiquity gate controller to open and close the gate. They are coming out with an alarm system at some point.
Are they? They're not monitoring yet, are they?
I don't think they're monitoring.
Okay. Yeah, they're kind of everything except monitoring at this point. I mean, they've got most of the endpoint devices. Marv, this is an area where I'll be honest. Okay, first, it's expensive, right? Their equipment, not cheap. This is not cheap, $7 sensors that you're getting, from them. Their equipment's pretty cheap. And then I also have this phrase, options equal confusion. And you and I like digging into those pages. Is the average consumer going to be able to do that?
Well, the regular consumer, no.
Okay.
But for the techs that are doing their home labs, that are trying to, MacGyver stuff and jerry-rig stuff, I mean, they also have a NAS that you can connect to that as well. I've not used that yet. But if you want to be able to have a network that is cohesive, and works together, UniFi might be an option. And listen, some home lab guys are spending tons of money to put in home servers and all of that stuff. If you're going to spend the money to go out and, run your own cameras, why not consider something like this? So that was my only thing. Yeah, is it for, Aunt Betty down the street, not unless you're going to manage it for her.
Yeah.
But if you want to be the guy in the neighborhood that helps everyone, you might decide, hey, let me put all this.
What you need is a giant snowblower and UniFi, Ubiquity systems to get
Yeah.
it all set up, right? Do you think though, I mean, this is from a tech guy perspective, like we're all hobbled together now as it is. Like we've been buying things as they come out. We're early adopters on stuff. We've got, I'm still using Philips Hue. Like I would never buy Hue lights today, but Hue lights were everything, 4 years ago and maybe 6. And like, so I've got all this technical debt associated with this. I run a Bit Defender box that I've probably had way too long. They still support the firmware for it, and I can still buy a subscription to kind of, it gives me the protection, the home protection that I need from a Wi-Fi router, right? But for me, thinking about, okay, if I was going to go all in one, as good as you're showing it, right? Man, I'm throwing a lot of things away, right? All of a sudden, I'm upgrading a lot of stuff and throwing. I don't have to, but if I'm buying it to get all the management stuff, right? I mean,
I
cameras,
don't
I got
know.
to get rid of all my Ring cameras.
You might want to pose a question to the chat because I'm looking here. There's several people running Ubiquity stuff.
Oh yeah, no, right on. No, listen, this audience for sure. I'm just trying to think, okay, for me, I don't have any of this equipment in my space right now. And I'm thinking, okay, my wireless router is getting long in the tooth, right? It's been, like I said, I probably had it 6 or 7 years. It does the job, but at some point it's gonna give up the ghost, right? It's gonna stop.
Yeah, but I mean, you can get yourself into a Ubiquity gateway for $129.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're saying, okay, start with the cloud gateway, right? That's going to be the device that's going to get me in. It's going to give me
Yeah.
Wi-Fi, all those things, right? And is there security software included in some of this as far as managing what's coming and going?
So, well, remember the management console is free. What I just
Okay,
showed you, that's how
right,
you manage
right,
everything. That's
right.
free. There is there is some cyber software that you
Mm.
can get on top of it if you want to add capabilities to the firewall features. That's $99 a year. Probably not something a home user would do, but I've done that for all my business clients. I just roll that into the monthly. Home labbers may do that, but probably not. But
Yeah.
the basic firewall features, I think, are pretty much enough. You can still do some content filtering and all of that. So
Yeah, I do. One of the things with the Bitdefender box that I've always appreciated is they've kind of managed all of those things for me. They have a standard configuration. I don't have to monkey with it. It's $99 a year. For that $99, I get as many endpoint antivirus, Bitdefender antivirus applications that I can. It's been a pretty nice. That's one of the subscriptions I kind of don't like grit my teeth at the end of the year, like it's $100. They're doing a good job of protecting me. They stop a lot,
yeah,
and some of those kinds of things. But I am thinking, you've got me thinking, like, like good life insurance, at some point you're gonna need it. And I'm thinking like, okay, what's my next wireless router gonna be? And this would, from a usage standpoint, this would be the right hold on, we get Uncle Marv back here. I don't know why we're having these issues tonight. I don't know what's going on.
I touch nothing.
Yeah, no, I believe you. I believe you. I think I'm going to say it's Restream that's having, maybe they're having, let's just blame it on them. How's that sound?
All right. We can do that. We'll blame it on Restream,
It can't
which
be you, and it can't be me.
so I was going to tell you when I came into here, the Restream platform has changed since I've used it. So I actually got Restream 2 years ago because I was going to do some Amazon Live and on their platform,
Okay.
and you need Restream to use Amazon Live if you're going to do streaming like you and I are used to, because the only way to use Amazon Live was through either a phone or a tablet. I'm not using a tablet.
Right.
So Restream would actually work off of the Amazon Live platform, but it didn't have all the bells and whistles that StreamYard had. So I never could commit to it.
Yeah, I may go back to StreamYard just to be honest. I think the next iteration for the podcast, I've been broadcasting at 720p forever, right? And we always used to say, oh, that's what YouTube broadcast at anyways. Well, not anymore. Like that was a long time ago. I'm pretty sure you can stream at 4K on YouTube at this point. Um, but I think I was like, yeah, if I'm going to make a jump, maybe I'll go because I really like StreamYard. I really like that platform. They just got a little pricey on me. And I was like, oh, and then the other day
Yeah, I'm
I was
about ready to drop so I'm on the top plan,
okay.
but I don't need the top plan anymore.
Right,
So
right,
I'm gonna drop.
Well, I don't know what's going on. Dan out in chat says that maybe they heard that we were complaining, and they're like, "Oh, turn on the switch for them." Well, that's okay. As tech guys, this is what we put up with. Well, Marv, you got me thinking, right, on this UniFi ubiquity piece. Like we've talked about these guys for a long time, and they've been in the space in this, and haven't had the need. I keep thinking, I'm gonna ask you a question about de-gadgetifying your space here in just a second, but I'm also trying to get to a to simpler solutions, not less capable, just simpler. Like I want the complexity, but I want them to handle the complexity. And it's easy for me to kind of set up. If I were to say that now that you're managing that now, I'm maybe a little more tech savvy than most. Is this a system that I could set up easily now based on what you've done? Not necessarily take advantage of everything, but it would give me some robustness in my network.
I'll be honest, it is super easy.
Okay.
I mean, super easy. Once you get the main gateway set up and registered to the UniFi platform, everything's pretty much there.
Okay.
And like I said, once you start adding devices, they're just going to pop up in the box. And I mean, you do have to actually activate them to work with the Ubiquiti platform. But other than that, once they start populating and stuff, it's super easy. Even the updating, it'll, when you go into the platform, it'll tell you, hey, these things need to be updated. You can either schedule it or do you want to do it manually?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of, I mean, part of it is me looking at this going, man, why didn't I look at this sooner?
Yeah.
Because there's, I've got some law offices that are not very big and probably didn't need the infrastructure that I put in. I could have put this in, done the simple, VPN between the offices. There's some other monitoring that I like with this where I can actually see what countries some of the traffic is going to. It's just some features that they're like enterprise level features, but they're in here. So if I wanted to block a device from getting to Twitter, I just find if I see Twitter here, I can click on it. It'll say, hey, do you want to block this? Boom, done. I mean, super configuration stuff. It is easy.
You buy those Tapo plugs that we were looking at, and you're running this. Say you're running this locally. Pretty easy to block those from calling back home. Do you think devices outside the network?
Yeah, because if you are on the Wi-Fi, it'll recognize all the devices and it'll track, where those devices are phoning home to, and then you just basically block the country or block the IP address.
Yeah. Well, I would like a plug like that. You would think shouldn't be calling home, but it does. They do get occasional updates that you need to install, but you could open it up, install the update, shut it back down, right? If you wanted to.
Yeah. Like so I'm afraid to share again, but I mean, there's a flow summary. There's a top destinations.
Yeah.
Top clients, top apps. and it'll put flags by the country so that
Oh, nice. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I'm looking at this and it's only mostly US. I've got a couple of Canadas and stuff, so I don't have a bunch of ones going out the country. I did have one client where I set up, actually when I set up the Watt box, I kept trying to figure out why is this going to Germany? And the Watt boxes are connecting to a server in Germany.
Do you know why? Is that
So,
home? Is that home for them?
and here's a Microsoft connection in Ireland that I'm looking at for some reason.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. Oh, listen, when the kids were young, I set up all kinds of. Hold on. I want to get Joe's comment. Joe said real
Okay.
quick UniFi Express 7 or Dream Router 7 would be good options for the home.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Um, and I want to run a scenario by you, but when the kids were younger, I did all this monitoring to try and keep them safe. This was, 20 years ago. So we were still, there was a program called Enough that I put on there to kind of block things and set timers for stuff and kind of keep my kids safe. But the management of all those IPs and where they're going and what they're doing, and sometimes it's cryptic and you don't know. I found myself getting more paranoid about, like, I was more worried that I was monitoring it than when I wasn't. It was
Mm,
almost kind of like ignorance is bliss,
I see what you're
in that
saying. Yeah.
case, and then you start digging into this stuff and it can be endless. Like, okay, I'm going to do a reverse IP lookup. And so you do that and it's not real clear where that's coming from. And then you start getting like, I don't know, maybe I ought to just cut off the internet, you know? So that was a
I mean,
struggle in those days.
this does give you more information that you would be used to at home.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, it's again, you don't have to look at it. I mean, you
Mm.
once you set everything up, it just works.
Yeah. No, right on. I just know me. I just know I'm going to get, there's some night, some evening, I'll be like, oh, this is interesting. And then it's 3 in the morning. The
Yeah.
next thing you're like, oh, where did that time go? Right.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so I'm replacing the Bit Defender box. I'm going to go with the gateway, put something in. I'm going to spend $200, which I'd spend anyways on a decent Wi-Fi solution for the house. I'm assuming I don't need extenders, but they have Ubiquity extenders as well, right? That I could put around. I could either wire into the house if I needed to or not. I wouldn't need one. I have a small enough house I can generally get away with one access point. Is the next thing I go with a managed switch? So I have a 24 port Linksys. It's not managed. It's just a dumb switch, but I run everything into that. Is that the next logical step for me?
Yeah, that would be the next step because the gateway is only going to give you the connection and the stuff. The managed switch is what is going to give you all of that traffic information,
Oh,
tell you
okay.
what all the devices you are. So they do work hand in hand. I know people that, put in a gateway without it because they're managing it with all their other tools. But as an MSP, we do that sort of stuff. Home users are probably not going to management. Like I would have a Domotes box that would do all of my, network monitoring sensors. I would have a Ingenious switch where I can, cloud control that. Um, but again, the Ubiquity, you get the gateway, then you get the switch, and then you can see literally everything.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
you get the access points, and I think that's pretty good for most.
So I'm $400 at that point, right? Or
Yeah,
maybe three if I went with
which
the
you said you
24
got a 24 port, you said?
24 port switch. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can get by with a standard 24. That's 225.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So $400 basically.
Yeah.
450. Okay. Well, it's good to know. I mean, it's both the Bitdefender box and the Linksys switch are aging, you know, and they're fine. I mean, they're gigabit and they do their job, and I haven't had any trouble with them except for tonight. That's not true either. But the who knows? Who knows anymore, Marv? What goes wrong? These things get wacky, and you don't know if it's Restream or your local box or your PC or your internet connection or the weather.
Well, the Ubiquiti would tell you if you've got good internet connection. It literally has, I don't know, that first screen I had, there's a status bar that gives you what your internet connection is, and it tells you if there's latency, if there's packet loss. Most of the time, we're not going to be able to see that in any of the other, firewalls or stuff without some sort of tool. It's built into the Ubiquiti.
Yeah. Joe also says remote power cycling, PoE ports.
Oh, yep. You can do that.
Managed switches are handy, right? To be able to jump in that. And then he also says VLANs are ridiculously easy as well.
Yeah.
I haven't, back in the Uyghur days, Uyghur set up a bunch of VLANs and, he was all into that. I did that a couple times. And then I was like, I don't want to do this ever again.
Really?
No, yeah. I just didn't, for me, I didn't find the benefit worth the time.
I do.
Well, tell me how's it benefit you? You tell me.
So the benefit for me is, let's say here's what I have at my house now. I've got a Sonic wall, but all the smart TV devices, I've got Roku boxes and all of that. I want those to be on the Wi-Fi, but I don't want them to be on the same Wi-Fi that a guest would use when they come into the house. So VLANs specifically for a guest Wi-Fi is the first thing. The second thing is, if you want to get nerdy about it, you put all of those managed devices on their own VLAN with just the amount of connection that they need, and save your bandwidth for, your tablets and your laptops and stuff like that. That's getting nerdy about it. But if you want to segment that stuff, those are really the first things that I would say is, segment a guest network for Wi-Fi. So that way, because you don't want to give people the Wi-Fi password that connects to all your stuff.
Right.
And now that we know that, our refrigerators and our stoves and our coffees all connect to the internet, I don't want people spying on me through those devices.
It was the Nespresso machine that took me down. Those people at Nespresso, which is owned by Nestle now, by the way. But I do have a guest network on my Bitdefender box. I'm assuming that's a VLAN. I just didn't set it up right. They did that for me, right? From that.
Yeah, usually when you've got a device like that and you set up another SSID, it should automatically provision a separate network.
Okay. Yeah. Do you also? I went through this week because we had last weekend had a mini power failure on the backup. So on the battery that I have, it reset for some reason. I'm still trying to track it down. I think I overloaded it, but it's just shut the switch off. I have it so it doesn't do that. That's one of the things I don't ever want it to shut off, that because it's a backup, right? It shut the computers off. But as soon as all my boxes came back up, it started randomly assigning new IPs to, so like the Mac runs channels, and I access channels from various devices based on IP address. Now the Mac is a different IP address, and I don't set DHCP, or I don't set static addresses for everything. Do you do that on your network? Do you, like, for the things that are regular, do you have a spreadsheet that's got all your devices and what their IP should be? I mean, I've done that before. For whatever reason, it never sticks.
I do.
Do you?
Yeah. But I also have a Domotz box at the house, so I can always see what they were, and if something changes, it would alert me. But yeah, I do assignments.
The Bitdefender box is not good at this. This is where it's kind of chintzy, and you feel like it should be working, and in the past it hasn't. And then I always, as soon as I set up that spreadsheet, I start moving things around, and then it's like it's out of date, and I'm like, oh, now I got to go back in and
and that's
everything back.
I mean, I didn't realize how easy that was on the Ubiquiti as well. Setting up those devices, you can actually let it connect, and then there's a little button that says make this static. Boom.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
Can you, I'm assuming you could choose, you could tell that device, don't take that IP address, change it to this one, and then
Yes.
cycle it so it does that as
Yeah,
well.
you can.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay. You've given me some, I this has been in the back of my mind of like, hey, what's the next for me? What's the next? Is that okay? So I'm coming to you and I'm your customer now. And I'm running a Bitdefender box, which has worked well for me, but it's dead. And I'm gonna have to replace my Wi-Fi solution. Or are you sending me down this route? Or you're like, Jim, you should really look at these devices. Is that what you'd say to me?
Well, I would ask you basically a question two ways.
Okay.
Do you want a unified system that everything works together, it's simple, and is basically secure? Or do you want to go next level and do things that is rock solid enterprise type networking?
Can I get both?
You can get both, but you're going to spend the same amount of money.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you can do that in the Ubiquiti line. They have enterprise level stuff, but
Yeah.
for most people, you can get by on the basic level and have a good unified secure network.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably the right way to go. Just to be honest, where we land. I mean, what are your thoughts on these Asus routers these although we haven't talked routers in a long time. So I'm sitting here thinking like, what do people buy these days for
You know what?
Wi-Fi
Most
routers?
people, here's the problem. Home
Yeah.
users aren't buying much because the internet providers are giving them
True.
routers and saying this is all you need, and then they're selling them a security package.
Yeah.
And
Well,
they
they're feeding
hate it.
internet to the neighborhood too through it, right? That's
Yeah.
like you're right. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And they hate when you put in a firewall, you know, in between their
Yeah.
stuff. They hate it. So they're doing all that. So from a residential perspective, it's one of my frustrations, which is why I don't like doing residential, because I don't like fighting with Comcast, Xfinity,
For sure.
Verizon. It
You
just
with commercial, you don't fight with those guys?
no,
For
not so
okay.
much. No.
Okay.
Now
Well,
there are some like so Comcast is one of those ones that they're trying to make everything ubiquitous. So they're trying to do both business and residential the same. They're putting in the same router in both, which frustrates me. And I'm like, this is a business. These guys have to be up.
yeah.
And we are going to put in a firewall because we need to manage things like incoming connections and, our VLANs, and we need to be able to manage that. So one of the things that has been tough with Comcast is telling them, put your modem in bridge mode and just let us manage the IP.
Yeah.
And half the techs, first of all, don't know what bridge mode is.
Right.
They don't know what pass through means, where it's like, you give us the traffic, pass through the control to us and let us do it. And the problem is again, like I said, Comcast and these companies don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And the bigger you are in business, the less they argue with you. But if you're a small business, 10 or less users and stuff, they're going to try to say, look, just, we prefer you not do that. But I tell them, look, I run security, I run cyber, and we're putting in this firewall. So you need to accommodate that.
Dan out in chat says, I've talked to so many younger folks these days who don't even bother to know what a router
Yes.
or a modem is. The box they just get from the ISP it's just my Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. No, for sure. It's yeah. I mean, and the consumer doesn't want to mess around. Listen, it's a consumer that is okay with just their phone, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so can I get it?
They need Wi-Fi on their phone. Yeah.
That's all they need. That's all I need. And in some cases they don't even know. Like they're like, "Oh yeah, no, I didn't know I was connected to my carrier, or I was using data, or I was not, whatever." So Marv, let's wrap it on this. So you've given me some things. Listen, an hour ago, and you would have if you would have asked me, "Hey, your router's going out tonight," maybe it is. It's a very good possibility. My router is dying as we speak. Um, I wouldn't have. I don't know if I would have had a plan. I think tonight, as I think through it, I think I'm a little more clear. I wouldn't have. Listen, I've always seen UniFi stuff is just super expensive. And then as we started looking at tonight, I'm kind of like, oh, actually, okay, it is, but it's not as bad as I thought maybe it was.
Right.
So cool. Thanks for the help on that one. Hey,
All
you
right,
said in
you're
your
welcome.
notes, we'll wrap it up on this. You're
Okay.
also in a gadget detox. Like, how can you come on my show and say to me you're in a gadget? What does that even mean? I don't understand it. Talk to us.
So,
What?
so starting with Black Friday, I have been on this. I have been on this binge of buying stuff. Now, a lot of it is podcast gear
Sure.
because I was trying to finally utilize the Rodecaster video device that I bought earlier last year because I wanted something that would capture video on the road when I was doing podcast a lot better. I wanted to auto switch cameras, and I bought the Rodecaster video thinking, oh, that'll be it. Wrong. Because to use it, you've got to have the right cameras, which are going to be the high HDMI type cameras. Most of those are those digital cameras that are like $1,000, and I'm like, I can't spend $1,000 a camera now that I bought this.
Right.
The Rodecaster S was $12.99 by itself.
Whew.
And luckily, I got a sponsor. I got a gear sponsor last year that paid for it.
Okay.
So I haven't been able to hurry up the gear. So I finally got an Osbot camera that was HDMI that would work with it, but this was $450.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but those conference room cameras that look like those, right? They're $4,000. They're $6,000.
Yeah, the PTZs.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to outfit the Rodecaster S. I'm trying to get some other gear. I had to get an HDMI monitor for that. I told you I was looking for smart plugs for the house. I was looking for all of these things. And finally, I just said to myself, dude, you got to stop. I bought more pod mics because I'm doing a local podcast for my area here. So I had to get a separate area when we have guests come in there because I can't do guests here. So I've got two podcast space now. And I'm like, you know what? I gotta slow down. So I figured I'm only gonna spend what I need to spend for work, and everything else. Once I get these smart plugs, I'm gonna go on a digital detox for gear.
Now, okay, it's great to say that. I know it feels good. How are you gonna actually do that? Like, I keep saying that with whiskey. Like, since the pandemic, I've been on a tear, and I'm looking at my whiskey collection right there. I'm like, it looks beautiful, right? And I'm like. So in January, I bought some, and I'm like, okay, this is it. I'm not buying any more. And then I bought some more, right? And you're like, okay, that's it. I'm buying only, and then and I think tech prices are a little bit this way too. Not for everything, but whiskey prices are dropping, right? With all the tariff stuff and especially with the Canadian tariff, and the Canadians are now buying American whiskey. So whiskey's getting cheap. So you see it, you're like, I can't afford not to buy this.
Right.
Yeah. How are you gonna battle that when you see, I think tech stuff may be in a similar situation where some stuff may go on sale. How do you stop yourself?
It'll be interesting. I think the only thing that would be a factor is my sponsors.
Okay.
Because I've got so let me here's the other thing. So I had a meeting with my Net Ally person yesterday because they reached out and they want me to review an upcoming device. And I said, oh, yes, I do, because I haven't gotten a new device.
Right. Yeah.
So we started talking. I don't know if you remember those devices. I mean, they started $1,000, and the one that I got, the Cyberscope, is basically 12 grand.
Right.
For
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
networking
Those were
stuff.
nice. Yeah.
So
Those were
now
nice.
so that's what actually got me to the point where now I'm getting all this new Netgear stuff. I mean, Net Ally stuff. I need to be good for a while. So
All right. Well, let me know how it goes. We won't go 10 months to have you back on to see how that is going. It's hard. It is. You listen, I'm also trying to buy less tech, but what's in my hands today? I've got some sensors, and then I was only going to go with one, and then I started setting it up, and it's like, oh, you need the hub, and I'm like, oh, well, okay. Next time I buy one, I'm gonna get the hub. Well, of course you buy one. It was a month ago,
yeah,
and so it's hard. I get it. I get it.
it's weird because some of it's FOMO. It's our technology is so geared towards, if you don't buy something once a year, you feel left behind. You
Yeah.
know, um, I mean, my
Oh,
wife,
I
we were
know.
talking
I
about
know.
the iPhones.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
iPhone's
Yeah.
2 years
Yeah.
old,
Yeah.
and she's like, and I'm already getting the notifications. Hey, you're due for an upgrade. I'm like, this is working just
No,
fine.
I understand. I understand. Yeah, I bought those earpod or the AirPod Pro 3s, and I couldn't do I bought them for the translation capabilities, but you'd have to have a 15 or plus or above, and I have a
Mm.
12. It's like, well, I guess I'm getting a new phone. It's been great. It's been dynamite. Like, I'm glad I got a new phone, but
So
yeah.
here's the way to gauge that.
Okay.
So you're an Amazon guy, right?
Yep, for sure.
So do you have stuff saved for later?
Uh, yes, and oh no, don't tell me to delete it.
How
No.
no, I want to say, how many do you
Oh,
have in your saved for
oh,
later?
3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 20 maybe type
That's
because
it?
I'm watching the price. Yeah.
That's it?
Oh, you have more?
I have 130.
Oh, yikes. Okay. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. You might have a sickness.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
I've got cameras in here. I've got
Yeah.
LED lights. I've got, you know,
What are you hoping for? Why are they there? Like, are you there so you watch? Are you hoping the prices will come down and you'll catch it?
no,
That's
to be honest,
oh,
a lot
okay.
of them are here just so that a lot of them are like, okay, I need to remember that when it comes time, I don't want to have to go like I've found stuff and I'm like, okay, I want
Yeah.
this, but I don't
Yeah.
need it now,
Yeah.
but it's there. Um,
That could
and
be a
some of
whole
them are
show
things
in
that
itself, right? Show us your
shows you your save for later card. Now, some of these I can take out. Like I actually just got one of these is a mixer bag that. So again, the Rodecaster video, I didn't have a carrying case for it,
Yeah. Yep.
so I
Yeah.
had two of those.
And you're traveling with it, right? That makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
So those are the types of things that I keep in there. Things that I buy on a regular basis, I'll just keep there, um,
Yeah.
because it's either I go there or I go to buy again and search for it.
Yeah.
Um,
Mine is all solar stuff that I'm hoping will get cheaper. So like I was like, the extra battery for the EcoFlow battery that I have, you can
right.
buy an extra battery and plug it in. It's like $800 for two kilowatt hour extender battery. That's too much. So
Mm,
I'm magically hoping that someday there'll be a wildfire sale, and I'll be able to pick it up for $400, maybe five. Probably never. I probably never. But that's my strategy. Is a strategy of hope, where I just hope that they'll decrease in price. And so every day, at some point, maybe a couple times a day, I go to the list, refresh it, and see how the prices have changed because they're changing all the time.
yeah,
Like
they are. Yeah.
unbelievably how often these things change. And I have to admit, very few items have actually been purchased from that list. Like
Mm,
I don't know why. I've bought more in the last 6 months just from necessity than I have off the list. Because here's why: one, I'm super cheap, and then two, there's no price that's cheap enough for me. So you're like, oh, like it gets down to the lowest price I've seen ever, and I'm like, it could still get cheaper. And then you know what it does? It goes back up because Amazon knows what's
And, oh
what
yeah,
I'm, they
they
know
do.
what I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
It's evil.
We could do a show. I'm sitting here looking at the categories because they give you categories now of
Yeah.
the stuff
Yeah.
you've done. So I've got my VoIP phones. Um, I've got, I've got here's my swimming pool chlorine because I buy the same ones over again.
Right?
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. I have
continuous outdoor
blades for my
lighting.
chipper. Yeah, I have a little chipper. I have
Uh-huh.
blades for my chipper in there because the other ones might wear out. You know, it took me a while to find them the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Marv, good luck on being able to try to detox. It's a tough.
It's one day at a time. One
No, it
day at a
is.
time.
It is. It's a tough thing. One day you just realize, well,
So I figure I'm going to gauge myself in February because February should be easy. Like I said, I've got 3 weeks of conferences out of
Okay.
the 4.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
and the other thing is, on a personal note, my mom has been in and out of the hospital.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So I may be having to go visit her on the weekend. So that'll take away time. So
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, idle hands are the Amazon purchasing workshop, right? You're just like, oh, I'm kind of bored today. Well, what could I go over? What can I get at Amazon? Type deal. So
yeah.
whatever. Do you buy anywhere? Do you buy tech anywhere else than Amazon? I mean, for personal stuff. I know for your
So
business, you probably do other things, but
sometimes I guess B&H Photo
Mhm.
has become a place where it's weird. Sometimes
But that's
B&H
podcasting
Photo,
gear for you, right?
not always. It's
Oh, really?
sometimes I have found IT gear there. Yeah.
Oh, really?
It is one of those
Okay.
things where I mean, they've had computers there
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. Macs for
So,
sure. I think you can get a Mac from them for sure.
yeah.
But yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, I want to go to walmart.com from time to time. They third party their stuff just as hard as Amazon does. Like, so, if you see it on Amazon, search for it at walmart.com. You can find it over there. It may be a little bit cheaper, but then it's not really them anyways, but it's not really Amazon in some cases too.
Yeah.
Not that that matters. I don't know why that should matter. I don't know. I don't know. They've sucked us in, man. We are addicted to free shipping.
Yeah.
That's the crack.
That is. And
Yeah.
everybody else has tried to match it. Walmart and Target now have the delivery services, where you can get stuff in, as little as 2 hours.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I was ordering. Okay, so I was working on the basement stuff all the way back to the beginning of the show, and I wanted to plug up my basement um, drain that's down there. And I went to Lowe's. I went locally to try to find this stuff, and I went to Lowe's and blah, 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 whatever. Eventually, what I really needed was these plug devices that are designed for pools, and you put them in the end of the pipes, and you can screw the thing, and it opens up, and it locks itself in, and whatever. And I was like, "Oh, okay." I was, this was last night. I ordered them. They came at 6 o'clock this morning
Hmm.
from Amazon, and I was like, I know they know. I know for a lot of folks for a long time they've been doing overnight. I live in Omaha, Nebraska. We have not had overnight like that for very long. That's kind
Yeah.
of crazy,
When they
right?
started doing same day here,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
made it real tough because I'll be honest, I'd rather spend 10 minutes on Amazon finding it and clicking send as opposed to let me get in the car, let
yeah.
me go to Lowe's, Home Depot.
Yeah. Well, I went to Lowe's and bought things that didn't work. So now I got to go back and return them. That reinforces the bad behavior of just sitting here. Last night is about this time. It was maybe even a little later, like 10 maybe last night. Ordered them. They're like, oh, if you order them within 2 hours, you can get them overnight. And I'm like, serious? Boom. This
Yeah.
morning, I have a picture of them on my porch. Still dark. I was like, what? You know?
I would
That's
love
crazy.
to hear the logistics on how they're doing that because
Yeah.
they can't have I know they're building warehouses like crazy, but I believe that they are working with a lot of local stores and not telling us.
You think so?
They've got to.
Yeah, it's crazy. These were pool stopper plug screw Titan things, whatever they are. Super obscure. Overnight. They were on my
Yeah, I mean, those are the types of things like, are they really sitting at the warehouse ready to go?
Listen, I can't find them I couldn't find those locally. Like it wasn't even and I went to they're pretty common things, but I was still like, how does this happen? We have some pretty, we've got one in Council Bluffs and I think two in Omaha. So we've got some pretty big distribution centers, but it's still, Marv, I was like, this is ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
How and overnight. So anyways, I don't know. They've got us hooked for sure.
Oh, they do.
You'll have to, next time you're on, you'll have to update us on your detox. Let us know how's the gadget every time. Listen, every time I say this and you're in the same boat, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do this tech stuff, and I'm definitely not going to do reviews anymore. I get 3 emails from companies. Hey, if we send you this, would you do a review? Like, oh, okay, send it to me. So, and I do terrible reviews. I mean, we do them on the show here. This, by the way, this Tapo stuff I bought. There's no sponsorship on any of these things, but it's almost like the system is against me sometimes. I'm like, okay, I'm not doing anything. Like the vendors hear me say that somehow, and then they're like, would you please review something for us? So I don't know.
Yeah, they know.
All right.
And obviously it works too, or else they wouldn't keep asking.
For sure it does. Yeah, they've figured it out. Podcast wise, give us a quick rundown. What are you doing podcasting wise, and how do people find you?
So the main podcast is Uncle Marv's IT Business Podcast, located at itbusinesspodcast.com. 10 years of podcasting this year. Congrats. With that show.
Good work.
So this year will be all about some new series that we're doing. Of course, Net Ally is going to be doing some stuff. My regular vendor shows, my Wednesday live shows are 8 p.m. Eastern, and I will be doing a lot more shows with other techs and MSPs, and I will try to have a weekly top 10 list. My top 10 this past week were the top 10 things IT pros did during the M365 outage. And it's just satirical, nice. The number one thing was like on-prem never looked so good, did it? I think number 2 was blame DNS as we always do. And then realized the whole world was out.
That's right. Yeah, those are good. Yeah, on-prem never looks so good. I like that one. It's like, yeah, you're wishing like, or somebody to come along like, hey, you know what we ought to do? We got to build our own servers, our own cloud servers, and host them locally, right? We used to do that.
Yeah. So that's the main podcast.
Cool. Good.
I've got the Unhealthy podcast, which is rolling back up, where we're talking about how to fix unhealthy habits, both, nice. Body, mind, and spirit. We're going to talk relationships. And then those are the 2 that probably would be the most. I've got 4 going right now.
Where would we go to find any of those? Do you have a site?
So unhealthypodcast.com is that one.
Okay.
And both of those pages, you can go there and find your favorite podcatcher by clicking the follow button at the top right.
Sweet.
We're in most of the platforms. Search for Uncle Marv. That'll be the easier.
Uncle Marv will get you there for sure.
Yeah.
That will get you there. You are the Uncle Marv. Do you have theunclemarv.com?
I have unclemarv.com.
Oh, nice. Okay, so not even the. Do you have Uncle Marv?
unclemarv.com. I bought
that thing.
I bought that thing probably like 2005.
Huh.
I didn't start using it until 2 years ago.
Really? It just sat there the whole time?
Yep. Paid like $10 a year for it or whatever, $12 a year.
That gets me thinking. Maybe I should, maybe I should go by Grandpa Jim. That's what my granddaughters call me, Grandpa Jim. Yeah. They've got a bunch of grandpas, so I'm Grandpa Jim. And guess what? GrandpaJim.com is available.
You better, what? Wrap it up, because here's the problem. Now that you've searched for it, if you don't buy it, the next time you go look for it, somebody will have.
You think so?
and they
You
sit
think
on
so?
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're probably right. Yeah.
Because I have a couple of things. Like I had Reunion Podcast for a while that I was doing for my personal one. I dropped it, didn't renew it, went back not even a month later, not available. So I think
What do
people are
you?
just saying, "Oh,
Okay.
somebody looked for this. Oh, let me take it."
Oh, that's sneaky. Yeah, that's sneaky. That is sneaky. Well, Marv, thanks for coming on. Always good to be with you. Sorry it went 10 months. I didn't. It's
That's
been a
fine.
crazy,
I'm not
but
going to
it's
push you. You had Aaron on what, 3 times, 4 times?
oh, ouch, ouch, ouch. Well, two and a half because she bailed on me on one of those. Right, she was on with Uyghur and we
Oh, that's
lost
right.
her.
Yes,
We
yeah.
lost her from the hotel room. Yeah, I did. So ouch. Sorry. We'll get you back. We'll get you back sooner than that. Can you hang with me as I close
Sure.
this thing up? Will that work?
Yep.
So a couple reminders on the way out. If you want to join us in the Discord group, theaverageguy.tv/Discord. Don't forget theaverageguy.tv, both web and media hosting powered by Maple Grove Partners. Get secure, reliable, high-speed hosting from people that you know and you trust. And you know that's Christian. He was just on a couple weeks ago. If you haven't caught it, you can go back and listen to it. Visit maplegrovepartners.com. They're doing some pretty bang up work for you. He'll kind of just do about anything, and plans start at $10 a month. So check it out today. We are live every Thursday, 8 p.m. Central, 9 Eastern, out here at theaverageguy.tv/live. I got a bunch scheduled here coming up. TJ Huddleston's coming in next week. We'll get an update from him on things that are going on. And then longtime host from Australia, long time, like very first show, Andrew Morris, is going to join me on the 12th. And then, sorry, Marv, Aaron Lawrence will be back. We'll be back on the 19th. I had to get her back in here, and she'll be back in. And so you got some shows coming up. Join us on these Thursdays. Love to have you join us live. Dan says, great show. Thanks, Dan. For Dan, Joe, Tony was out there. I saw Ken a little bit earlier. And I think that's everybody. Thanks for joining us in the live chat room. You could join us live too. Come out on Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Central, theaverageguy.tv/live. Easiest way to find that YouTube video. If you join us in the Discord group, I post the link in there every week. You can jump in there and see what we're doing and who's going to be on the show. We'll be back next week. With that, we'll say goodbye, everybody. All right, Marv. Do you have a busy day tomorrow?
Nope. Tomorrow I have a light Friday.
Oh, that's nice. I don't. Unfortunately. I don't. I try to jam in the wintertime. You don't have this problem. But in the wintertime, I try to jam all that work. Like I try to preload my work in so as we get into spring and the weather gets a little bit nicer that I can bail at 1 or 2 on a Friday and go do something else. Fire pit, something along those lines. So, yeah, but we had a week. I didn't get any of my chores done. I have chores at work. I don't know if you have this, but I have things I got to do every day. And I let those skip all week. so I have to do them tomorrow. So it'll be a long day. Yeah. Well, it's going to be cold for you this weekend, so you can stay inside, get some work done, whatever, right?
Yeah.
When's your next conference?
February 10th through the 12th is the first one.
And which one is that?
That actually is the IT Expo and MSP Expo. It's part of a big tech super show.
Oh, nice. Is that local?
That's here in Fort Lauderdale.
Local in Orlando?
No, Fort Lauderdale. Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
That was in Fort Lauderdale. I'm actually speaking at that one.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to be on a panel talking about pricing and packaging and profiting in our space.
Wow.
So I'm doing that. And then the week after, I'll be in Orlando for a little, they call it a Channel Pro conference, talking cybersecurity. And then 2 weeks after that, I'll be back in Orlando for Zero Trust World, which is a bigger cybersecurity based on no trust.
Yep. That makes sense. Do you fly to Orlando or do you drive up there?
I drive.
How far is it?
It's 3 hours.
Oh, that's not bad. Yeah, I drive too. That's like Kansas City for us.
Yeah.
So yeah, you drive it. That's not too bad. Well, you should live in Orlando. You might as well, right? You're up there all the time.
Yeah, I mean, no. Middle of the states.
No.
Middle of the states, muggy.
Yeah, and it's Orlando. Like you love it for Disney World or you hate it for Disney World, right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Disney, Epcot, SeaWorld.
I mean, but
Um,
yeah, all I say Disney, that means all of those things
yeah,
that are there. I don't know. I've been to Orlando a couple times, and I just kind of like, this is too much like Disney. Everything kind of feels theme parkish, so to speak.
yeah.
Uh, Ryan says ski in Kansas City this weekend. They've gotten a lot of snow. Looks like
Mm.
maybe they'll get a little bit more. Yeah, no, Ryan, I won't be doing that. We're not getting anything. This is weird. The South is getting all the snow, and we got nothing. Like
Really?
it's bone dry. Well, that's not true. We got like a half an inch last weekend when that big storm. It's the storm of the century came across, and then yesterday or this morning, I think we had like a half an inch, maybe. I mean, not a quarter of an inch. We've had nothing. It's weird. It's weird. When I moved to Nebraska from California 30 years ago, we'd get 40 to 50 inches of snow a year regularly. That was kind of the averages. I haven't seen a foot of snow in 10 years. So I'm all for it. If this is global warming, I am
It
all for it.
it looks like it's really it's north of you. Actually, you know what? It's actually north of Kansas too.
The snow?
Yeah, so the
Yeah.
snow basically is the top half of the US.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, last week and that storm, that big storm of the century, as I'm calling it, was all south of here. So we didn't get any. We got maybe a half an inch of snow. I shoveled for a few minutes to get the driveway so it wouldn't get slick. But yeah, I don't know. If it's global warming that's causing Nebraska not to get 50 inches of snow, yeah, that's a lot of shoveling. And listen, it's got me thinking, Marv. Like it used to be a big deal to have to have a snowblower
Yeah.
here in Nebraska, right? Last couple years, I've run it maybe once each year.
Mm.
So you're like, and then the other day I was out running it. We had a snowstorm, I don't know, a month ago or so, where we needed it. I probably didn't need it, but I brought it out. It broke. Like I broke the housing. I'm like, well, I'm not going to replace it. It's 25 years old. And so it's like, well, I'm not going to fix it. I'm going to replace it. And then I started thinking, do I do I really need a snowblower? Like I haven't, we're getting one storm a year that's
Yeah, but you
worthy of
you know
snow.
what's gonna happen. You know exactly what'll happen.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Buying the snowblower will prevent it from ever snowing again. So I
Yeah.
should buy the snowblower, is what you're saying.
I've got a generator in my shed
Yeah,
and haven't had to use it. It's been there for
I
like
know. Me
7
too.
years.
Me too. I did a whole house plug-in thing so I could plug it in outside of the house and flip the switch and I'd be good. I haven't lost
You
power
did do
since.
that?
I
Did you
did.
do Kohler or
No, I
Generac?
still no, it's still my own. So I wired it in and then used the lockout switch. I wired a lockout switch in myself. So that
Okay.
I could do it. It's a DIY dealio. So the generator's in the garage, and so I roll it out to the back, but I have a plug into the house, so it can be running outside. Plug in and have a 50 amp service in the back. And then I switch go up, turn the main breaker off, turn the breaker on for the house, and Bob's your uncle. We're off to the
So
races.
one of the things that's in my cart
Yeah.
is
This
an
is going to be a
anchor.
show. That maybe the next show you're on
Is
is
it's
what's
an
in Marv's
anchor.
cart.
Yep, an anchor 12,000-watt generator for home use.
Yeah. 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 That's a good this would make I spent way too much time on this over the last year. Like do you put a solar generator, right? You put batteries basically in your house and size them up enough to give you 6 hours, maybe 12. Like you or more. And then use your generator And when your battery gets a little bit low, turn your generator on, charge the battery back up, and turn the generator off. And that's a super convenient way to do it.
Yeah, that's why I looked at the Anchor. It's got,
Yeah.
it's got the home connection,
Yep.
and then you can add solar panels. So
Oh.
basically, we can power it with the solar panels during the day and then have it be able to run overnight.
You have to buy a lot of panels to make that work. Just know that. Like it's takes more than you think.
Well, so the one package comes with two that I was looking at, that I think would probably, because I don't think, I don't know, I'll have to go back in because I tried to calculate it and two of their big panels would just about do it. But I think the package was getting close to $7,000.
Yeah. 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 No, for sure.
And I was like, well, for that amount of money, might as well get a Generac.
Yes, you're not far. You're not far off from that, Back to the snow, Joe said they had, because he's down south, so he's in Arkansas. He said they had something like 6 inches of snow and 4 inches of sleet, which is
Ugh.
horrific. And he says milk is still sold out at Walmart. Yeah, everybody's stocked up. Joe, it makes you kind of wonder, like, people overbuy. I wonder how much of that milk will be spoiled because people that they didn't need it. Maybe they did. I don't know. Maybe somehow we're having milk sandwiches. Milk
Well,
and bread.
they were buying
sell
milk.
out, right?
They're buying milk the way people bought toilet paper during COVID, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's like, well, how much milk do you drink in a week? Well, maybe half a gallon. Well, how much milk did you just buy now? Oh, I bought 4 gallons, 5 gallons. You're like, that doesn't make any sense, friend. You're not gonna use that in a weekend. And Joe, I'm assuming that you're clear again, power's back on or whatever. So like, it was just last weekend.
Guess what, Jim? Your mic just switched.
Did it?
Yeah.
Sweet.
At least it made it through the show.
It did make it through the show. That is weird. What? So it's. How about now? Is that?
There you go. You're back.
It's back. Okay, we got Ghosts in the Machine live, folks. I'm going to let you guys go. Marv, hang tight 1 second.
Okay.
And we'll see you guys next week. And yeah, take care. We'll see you guys. Thanks for coming out.